Hi, I'm Philip from Optimize Lab, and in this video I'm going to be sharing a sheet that I use to help me with doing forecasting for Google Ads campaigns. Now, to start off with, why would you want to do forecasting? Well, whether you're managing campaigns for yourself or for your clients, is quite often useful within the start of a particular period, like the start of a calendar month, to begin to think about what are the costs going to look like for this month? What's the revenue going to look like? What are the number of conversions we're likely to generate this month? And begin to get an idea of what kind of performance and what kind of return and what kind of ROI you're going to get for that particular month. And so I've created this sheet that I use for doing that basic forecasting, getting those estimates for accounts that I manage. Now, before we dig into this sheet, it's important to note that when you're forecasting, of course, the numbers that you generate within a sheet such as this are not guaranteed results. These are not set in stone. These are really just estimates based on the current performance that you're seeing within a given month. And so, to take a quick overview of how this sheet works and how it can help you get those estimates, we should take a look at how the calculations in this sheet are being made. So first off, this sheet has been set up for a number of different accounts for the same company within different regions, and then it's totaling up the numbers. So I thought this would be a good example because it's forecasting for a lot of different areas, a lot of different campaigns and different markets globally. And so it's a good example to use for that reason. And so this table here, just to show what the sheet gives, this table contains all of the historic data, and then the important metrics that are then being forecasted are the metrics for the current calendar month, which happens to be January of 2024. And so the sheet will give you the cost so far this month, the number of conversions so far this month, the cost per conversion, the conversion value or sales value, and the conversion value divided by cost, or also known as the return on ad spend. And the sheet will then output the historical data and the forecasted data into line charts below. So here we've got cost, which is the blue line, and is indicated by the numbers on the left hand side, and then conversion value or the sales value is the red line, and that's measured by these numbers on the right hand side. Then we've got a simple line chart for conversion value to cost at the bottom. Now bear in mind that these are just example numbers in here, and the intention would be that by downloading and accessing this sheet, you will be able to enter in the data for your accounts and your campaigns, and then you can begin to use this sheet or edit the sheet and use a similar one for yourself to help with forecasting. So just to look at how the calculations are generated, the sheet the sheet knows which day it is, and then it compares the current position in the month to how many days are remaining for the end of the month, and it looks at at which point in the month we are. So for example, now the data is for the first 9 days of the month, and then it extrapolates based on what the performance has been so far in the month, and then calculates what the performance will be by the end of the month. So it's important to realize that, because if within the first 9 days the campaigns see very, very positive performance, then that can skew the data, because if the current run rate is very good but you don't expect it to continue going further into the month, you just need to take that into account. Because, for example, you might have had your company or your client's company might have had a sale within the first week of the month, and so sales are booming. Now, of course, that run rate is not going to continue further into the month because your sales are going to be much higher. Your revenue is going to be much higher because you've just had a sale, and then that might drop off later into the month. So you just need to take that into example, that the forecast this sheet is going to give you is based on the current run rate. So if you're looking at on day one and you've had loads of sales on day one, that doesn't mean you can have the exact same sales for every single day of that month. So that's important to realize. But that's how the sheet is calculated. Now, another useful thing this sheet does, which some advertisers may find useful, is that this automatically converts sales and revenue data from one currency to another. So if you have multiple accounts running and they're in different currencies, you may want to convert the data into one currency. So you might want to standardize your report so that all of the metrics, all of your total metrics are just in one currency. And so this sheet's pretty good for doing that. So in this example, I've got several accounts that use pound sterling as the currency, which we can see here, and then one account that uses US dollars as a currency. And if you wanted to get your final report showing you all of your totals, for example, in US dollars, then you can have the metrics automatically translated from pound sterling into dollars. So we've got the pound sterling data here, and we've got automatically updating currency exchange rate from pounds to USD, and then that'll automatically then, using formulas, update into these cells here. And so when we look at our total data, we can see everything across the regions. We've got several regions. We've got the United States, England, Scotland, and Wales. So we've got the USA data here, and it's adding everything up and then calculating it in US dollars within this final section here. So we can see England and the USA, and we've got a chart for each of those locations. So it's quite a useful way of reviewing the data in order to make sure that we're keeping on track with what direction the accounts are going in and what we predict the cost will be by the end of the month. And if not, you can always edit the sheet in order to use it for whatever purposes you need. So I'll put a link to this. Thanks for watching.